All right.
Okay, got it recording.
Okay.
So, welcome everybody. I have Sarah with Knovation, and she's going to be talking to you about netTrekker, and I will just turn it over to her. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Tammy. Well, hello, everybody in cyber world. I am going to talk to you about some updates and new things and just tips and tricks on how to best use netTrekker in the classroom. So I want to go over just a couple of items. I wanted to give you the agenda so you're aware of the key topics that we're going to go over. Started with introductions with myself, and I have a coworker on the line as well. I'll introduce him in just a second. Going to review our curation process because I think so many times we get into netTrekker, we begin our searches, and we're not sure how or why the results come up and how to dive deeper into our search mechanisms. Then we'll look at some tips and where you can get additional help. You've always got a couple of different places to go, and then questions. And questions, it's always on there. And you can email those to a variety of different sources. So first person that, of course, is talking is myself. I'm Sarah Pinchback. I'm based down in San Antonio, and I support most or all of the new business that comes into play across the state. So anywhere from East Coast or east side of the state, from El Paso over to Beaumont and in between. And then we also have Mike Wilson, who was our account manager, who most of you will talk to at some point. And so, Mike, if you want to say hi.
Hello, everyone.
He is based in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he supports the management of the accounts to upload student and teacher data, making sure that everything is running properly and on target as it should be. So feel free to contact him for any of the help along the way when you've got netTrekker going. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the curation process just to kind of review, because I think sometimes we forget what it's all about. So we go through a 127-point verification process that each piece of resource that you click on in netTrekker will have gone through our checkpoint process. And once it goes through the process, then it gets tagged. This is when you can refine your search to one of these 19 different resource types or 57 different characteristics. So you can see here, it's pretty extensive. I've got 2 pages worth. You want to refine your search via interactive media, if you want it to be a whiteboard source, if you're using Promethean boards, if you're using smart boards and you need something specific for those types of devices, or if you're even looking at some test prep and need it for ACT or SAT. So you can dig deeper. We make sure that each one of the resources is ready to work when the teachers and students click on it. You can even see on the pie that we tag it via the grade level, the state standards. So again, everything can be tagged via the TEKS, and also your readability with Lexile. And so you can look to make sure that you're giving a 9th grade student a resource that would fit into their reading category. And just as another overview, here's kind of the breakdown of where we've got all of our digital content. This is a ever-changing document that shows how many resources that we've got across the board. And we've got it broken down into videos, audio files, but just to give you a bird's eye view of what and where our resources are coming from. And then when you click on your resources, they come from hundreds of different places. And on this page, you can see that it's just a snapshot of where some of the resources might be coming from. And with Khan Academy, we're not going to have every single Khan Academy video that's out there. With our certification process, we're making sure that all of the resources are education ready so that you know that it's fully vetted, ready to go. We might have 80% of their videos available to you. So what we're going to do, that's the gist of our curation process. And so I want to dig into netTrekker. I'm going to switch from my PowerPoint and go into my browser, but we're going to look at one of our new features. It's not necessarily a new feature, but it's an update to one of our tools. We've renamed it Text Help. And then we have some tips and tricks, and we'll look at how we can refine our search, looking for famous people, some featured resources that are available, and then also our video tutorials. So let me switch over to my web browser. And so with netTrekker, I have already gone in and logged in. And so you can see that from netTrekker, when you log in, I am by default set to middle school. And dependent upon your students and your teachers, you can switch between grade levels. But as I mentioned earlier, we have Text Help. And if you continue over to the right of the screen, you'll see Text Help is currently off, and we'll go ahead and turn it on. And when I turned it on, you can see that it added down here at the bottom of my screen, bottom of my browser window, it gives you the options for read aloud, speed, and voice. And so when we do a search for a resource, now I can select for it to read. So I'm going to do a quick search here. And since we were talking about the weather earlier, I'm going to begin a search with weather. And let's see here. If I want to look at the details of this third resource, I can scroll down and see that this one is an audio and a video, and then it's got the readability to it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the content. As always, it opens up a secondary window, and we'll have that load here. And as it loads, I'm going to go back to our netTrekker page and also bring up one additional. There we go. Here we go. So when I clicked on the resource, my page comes up. We'll come back to here at the bottom that I can do my read aloud. If I highlight a phrase here, I can hit the play button.
The term weather describes the state of the atmosphere.
In my ears right now, I'm not sure if it's something that you can hear, it is reading that statement aloud to me. And so if you noticed when it's highlighted, it highlights the text and then the words. Since I can hear it in my headphones and that's what I'm using, it also highlights the word that it's reading. You can adjust the speed to slow it down. So I think that this is a great tool for students that have in their IEP that they need something read aloud, or if you have your English language learners that need that secondary option where it's not something that you tell your students to go read it, they can actually have it read aloud to them. And then you can choose between Ava or Tom as your voice of choice. So again, it's nice to see it when I hit play. Go ahead and watch the words
given point in time and
highlighted
geographic location
as it moves along. And then down here at the bottom of the page, bottom right, I can also do dictionary translation. And so when I click on, I highlighted the word first, and then when I click on the dictionary translation, a secondary box pops up and gives you that definition. And so this is a little bit different than the read aloud and the dictionary that you were using last school year, or in the years past, that this was probably updated in the last couple of weeks. And it's something that you can easily toggle on and off. I just click the off button, and when you turn the text help off, you'll see that it goes away down at the bottom of the page. And I'll go ahead and keep it on for me for a default, but just remember to let your students know of this, as they can definitely see what they can read and have it read to them. So if we go back into netTrekker and do a search, we did our search via weather, and to further refine it, a lot of times we're in a hurry and I type in the word weather. It comes up with our resources, and I can scroll through all of these resources and do it that way, or I can refine a couple of different ways. Over on the left-hand side, you can choose the subject area that you want to refine by. So if I choose science, that's where the predominance of the weather resources are going to come from. I can also choose refine search, and it's going to give me a pop-up that I can now choose the type of resources that I want. So the learning aids here, if I want multimedia, so I want interactive and video content. And I'm not going to choose a specific learning aid. And readability, I'm just going to leave as is and choose refine. So now it has decreased my amounts. You'll see earlier I had 699 science resources, and now I've got 222. And that way it's not as many to search through, but I'm doing a cross-curricular lesson, and I want it to be able to come up with some language arts cross-curricular activities. So now here are my 5 resources that I can choose from. And you'll also see that it gives you further refinement to choose reading and visual literacy or writing and grammar options. So again, you click on the link and it's going to open a secondary window in your browser or secondary tab. And I can also look at the details. You can also choose to sort your options in a variety of different ways. So you can choose how you want your resources to come up via the evaluator, your readability, student recommended, teacher recommended. And since I've refined it down to 5, I'm not sure that I need to change the sort options. Now, if I go back to my main page and select netTrekker, you can also select standards, images, or famous person. And I think a lot of times famous person, we don't always do a search from here, but I always like to start my searches. And what I love about netTrekker is it will automatically populate with what you think it might be, or what netTrekker thinks you might be searching for. And so I chose famous person, and I have 2 options, and I can click on George Washington, and it immediately and automatically does the search topics for me. So again, I can look at social studies, arts, language arts, or even health and PE comes up as a specific option. We'll go back to our main page, and I'm just going to toggle back to my PowerPoint and make sure that I cover everything I need to, that I told you I would. And then something that we always will keep track of, the next thing I wanted to go over was the featured resources. And featured resources are going to be listed in that 4th tab. And so what it's going to do is I can do a search for Brain Pop. And so with Brain Pop, with our featured resources, if you have a subscription to BrainPop across your district or even at the campus that you're on, we can work with you to make sure that netTrekker is connected to BrainPop. And when you do a search within netTrekker, those BrainPop resources will populate. If you don't, unfortunately, have a BrainPop subscription, it will only search the free resources that are available to you. And so what I can do here now, I've got the subscription to BrainPop. It's going to now show me all of the related resources, anything BrainPop related. And this is where I can then choose health and PE topics and look at the soccer resource and be able to see the resource from BrainPop. Since we've made that connection between the two, I don't have to log back into my BrainPop. It automatically will do that for you. The next topic that we have to touch on are the tools that you had. We looked at the famous person earlier. You can also create timelines and references, which is a great tool that is built in to netTrekker. I can come in and look for the reference materials and resources that I might need to go above and beyond what we've got in netTrekker. So I can even go out to, these are resources that are educational related, that will have content that you can use in the classroom. When I go out to these sites, they're not things that I can, that have gone through our 127 point process. So if I click on Find Sounds, it will take me to an external website, not within netTrekker, but at least you've got some suggestions that our education curriculum team might have suggested for school districts to use for additional resources. And again, when I click on these, it's not going to do a search within netTrekker. It's just going to take you out to those resources for you to use in the classroom. And then the other tool is standards. And with standards in this day and age, everything that you teach is correlated back to your TEKS. And so I can do my general word search, but if I want to search via a specific student expectation, it takes you to the standards page. I go to my essential skills, my TEKS page, and we'll select math. We'll have the most up-to-date math strands that TEA has approved. So for grade 7 math, here are various strands. If we are looking at geometric relationships with volume, we'll click on 8. And I am wanting to look at the triangular prisms, so that's B. And now, what are the topics that I want to search for? So if I am doing regular pyramids, triangular pyramids, or volume, I can then click on that topic and it'll come up with a resource associated to that topic. So now I know that this will cover the specific strand up at the top of the page, the student expectation. Now, once you've done your searches and you need some additional help and you're like, okay, Sarah talked about some of these things, I've gone to a training, I've looked, not sure where I need to go, we can go to a couple of different places. So from our get back to that page. Sorry about that. So we can get help from a variety of different resources. You're always more than welcome to email the Knovation team. If you don't have our email right at your fingertips, then you can go to the Knovation or the netTrekker help page, which I'll show you. We've got a blog that is always updating new content. We've got our video tutorials and our support center. Live person help, as I mentioned, can definitely be myself, and Mike will work to get you the answer that you need. And here is our help. So up at the top right, we make it really easy for you to remember the help option. Click on the question mark, and it takes you directly to our netTrekker help page, and you can choose the topic that you need, and it'll give you, basic overviews and answers to questions. If you don't want to dig through all of that, you can also click on the video help, and it pops up, nice little box that I can come in and watch. These are no more than 2 to 3 minutes long, and I've got 5 here to choose from. So if I want to look at how I save and share resources, then I can click to view that. And when you're done, you can click out of it. You've also got knovationvideos.com, and that will take you to our full resource library. And then also from my menu, I mentioned the Knovation blog. And the Knovation blog is always great to go to, just to look at new ideas and new topics that come up from Knovation. And so you can see here, we just posted one last week about our Lexile measures, and we'll make sure to update this at least once a month, if not more. I know that as the school year starts, we add in more content. But again, if you have any questions, if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we will be here to help. But I think that that covers the support. And then just to wrap up, we've got all of our content, and we are here to support you through your implementation. And we've got our netTrekker and then our iCurio product line. But again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We're here to help. And Tammy, not sure if there's anything else you need us to go over, but I know we're just short on the 30 minutes, but yeah. I think that's good.
No, I think you did good. I think answered a lot of questions for people, and if they do have more questions, they have your contact, so that's great that they can always get a hold of y'all and ask more questions and stuff.
Okay.
If they do have brain pop and didn't realize they could basically put the two together, is there anything special they need to just contact you and let you know?
Yeah, Mike, I'm not sure if there's anything you can add in on.
Does he take care of that when they do their orders?
He should, yes.
Okay. Just double checking on that one.
Yeah, and one thing, I'm not sure if you touched on that or not, Sarah, but on the at the bottom of the netTrekker website down there, contact us. That's a way. We have what's called the content concierge, which is really good if, say, for instance, a teacher is looking for some specific type of content to aid in instruction or a lesson plan, and they're not really finding, specifically what they're looking for by searching through iCurio or netTrekker. They can go to the content, what you're seeing here on the screen, and put in a message, what they're looking for, and the content team will get right on that. That's and nice. Go out and search for content specifically custom for you. So that's another really good feature that please use that. Our content team really likes that portion
That's
the
nice.
job. And yeah, so
So
that's another key feature there too.
yeah, if we need more on cell mitosis, if we've only got 1 or 2 resources and your teachers want just a few more, then this alerts that content team to begin the search.
Okay, good.
Thanks for adding that in, Mike.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so anything else y'all need to say or want to say? I think y'all did a great job.
I think that should
Thank
do
you.
it. Thank you.
Great job, Sarah.
Well, enjoy your afternoon.
I will end the recording.
All right.